Hi, welcome to the Three Tines podcast. The Three Tines area is lucky to enjoy no fewer than 5 annual music festivals: Hexham Bluegrass Festival, Alston Live, Barfest in Bellingham, Reedfest in Otterburn, and the Allen Valleys Folk Festival in Allendale. This is one of several bonus episodes in which we hear from the festival organisers about their event. This episode is about the Hexham Bluegrass Festival.
My name's Penny Grennan. I'm a Hexham Town Councillor and I've lived in Hexham for nearly 30 years, and I'm a musician in a number of bands, including the Hexham Bluegrass Band. The Hexham Bluegrass Festival actually came out of a project that I set up as a town councillor, which was the bandstand sessions. So throughout the summer on the bandstand there are bands, and there's quite a growing sort of community of bluegrass players in Hexham. And so we thought, well, why don't we try, this was 2 years ago, why don't we try an afternoon of bluegrass and see how that goes down? So they were sort of tagged on to the bandstand sessions, and it was hugely popular. The bandstand sessions are very popular anyway, but people were willing to stay for the whole afternoon, and we put various bands on, and we thought, well, why don't we have a bluegrass festival? First of all, because there's that interest in Hexham in terms of musicians, but also because there's a big gap in the northeast in terms of bluegrass festivals, and they're hugely popular throughout the rest of the country, but we haven't got one. There's one up in Scotland at a place called Moniaive, but actually this year has closed down. So it's not due to lack of interest, it's just that nobody's organised them. So we thought, well, on the basis of our success, we would plan a weekend of bluegrass music, which we did last year. And we set up a crowdfunder, and we were supported by the North of Tyne Mayor's Authority as a special programme where you can do crowdfunders where they support. And we raised the money, and we were off really. So, and people came from the northeast, but they also came from all over the country, which was really interesting. We did some surveying, but we obviously talked to people, and it was a free festival, and that's something that we're really keen to retain, because it's held in the park around the bandstand. We had 2 stages. One at the top of that area and one on the bandstand, and various sessions running, but it's effectively a free festival. And one of the things that underpins what I do as a town councillor, and if you like, the things I really believe in, is that we should never be charging for the use of public spaces, but we should be utilising our public spaces for the benefit of everybody. And so we managed to do all of that with the Bluegrass Festival. You know, you could come for the whole weekend and not spend any money at all. So that means it's proper access to people no matter what their resources are. So yes, and people are talking about it. It was hugely successful. And at the town, it was very well received in the town, because one of the decisions we made was that we weren't going to sell food or drink on the site, partly because it's hugely complicated, but because there's so many outlets, it would be quite difficult to decide who got a pitch and who didn't. So we decided to leave that alone, but we made a food map, and it stimulated the local economy in ways that we couldn't possibly have anticipated. So it was like a win-win. There were lots of very happy audiences, if you like, and performers, and it attracted, amateur and professional musicians. There were young, it didn't matter what age you were. So we were very careful about offering something for everybody, It was gender balanced in terms of the performers. We were quite clear, and actually bluegrass is quite difficult in those terms. It's a very male-dominated genre, and it's not surprising if you listen to some of the content of the songs. I always say that it's about murder and mayhem and random killings to jolly music. And we had a session at the Bluegrass Festival where I talked to Blue Lass, which is an entirely women-based bluegrass band, and they call themselves Newgrass. So they're writing new songs with more acceptable content. So we were very happy with the way that it went, and now that Money Ive has ceased, and we've got links. We're very fortunate. We've got Core Music, and we've got particularly got tutors who are hugely well connected in the bluegrass world. So, we've got all sorts of people coming from a long, long way away who will write and review, and just because they want to come. So I think we've hit a bit of a gold seam. Yeah. And we haven't pushed it, we've just we do obviously publicise it, but we haven't decided that Hexham will be a centre of bluegrass. It's been an entirely sort of organic process where we've just thought that's what our ambition is, to put Hexham on the map for a different reason. It's already on the map musically in lots of ways and for other reasons, but that's what we wanted to do. And so we're running another one this year. The dates are the 26th to the 28th of July. So the bulk of the music will be happening on the 27th and the 28th. Last year we did a ceilidh on the Friday evening at the community centres. So that's something that actually people pay for. So there's occasional discrete events that people pay for. We're looking to extend our fringe activities this year, so there'll be free music and sessions in pubs and cafes and things around the town. So there's always something to do from the evening of the 26th, but the bulk of the music is on the 27th and the 28th of July, and it is centred in the park. But the other thing that we did do last year, and we're doing it again, is to have run-up events. So it's partly to raise the profile, but also we like doing it. So we're having a film on at the Forum, and we did this last year, where it's allied in some way to the Appalachians or to bluegrass music or something. We showed Oh Brother Where Art Thou, and then the Hexham Bluegrass Band played in advance of that in the cinema, just to get everybody in the mood. So we're doing that again. We're going to do a series of events in the library, which we did last year as well. We're going to have busking in the marketplace. So it's partly to draw attention, but also one of the strands of the Bluegrass Festival is about education. So it comes out of a very interesting place in terms of it's that mix of gospel and black music and instrumentation. The banjo came out of the slave movement of slaves to America, and then it became appropriated in the sort of 1950s and became a white, but then there's the music from the Appalachians with the really, really poor communities in the Appalachians. So if you want to look at it in terms of its history and its cultural origins, absolutely fascinating. So we're quite interested in promoting all different aspects of bluegrass. So you don't have to be a player, but you might be interested in gospel music, or wherever people's interests lie. They might just want to be entertained. That's fine. So we try and run a whole series of introductory or run-up events where people can go, and they're all free as well. We're programming at the moment, and based on last year, which is what we will do, of course, in most cases it'd be different bands. It ranges from solo performers to, quite large bands, people who are interpreting bluegrass music or sort of come out of that Americana, because we do actually also feel that 2 days of solid bluegrass might have everybody jumping in the time. So there's a variety, that, and that's the same with any sort of festival. There should be a mix there. We have people who are amateurs, who, I don't like that word, but like they just play for themselves, because we have, and then we've got groups like the Hexham Bluegrass will play, the youth group will play, so what we might describe, I suppose, as community music. We're going to have workshops, and a whole series of workshops around, playing your fiddle or playing your banjo or whatever it is. We're going to have sessions where people can sing, so you don't have to be... Because bluegrass is quite heavy on instrumentation, but it doesn't have to be that, that you're a singer. Stuff in the pub. So the performers are coming out of the community, as well as us supporting professional musicians. And I think that's really, really important, because you don't wake up one day as a professional musician. You have to start somewhere, and we're hoping that we've got something, platform for everybody, really. And what we did last year was we bought what we call the top tent. So the bandstand is a joy, obviously, no construction there, we don't have to put it up, and the acoustics are absolutely wonderful. And then we bought a massive gazebo, and the top tent tended to be those people who are not necessarily yet headliners yet, but not necessarily, it depended on the timetabling, and there was proper movement between the two stages. We staggered everything, so, and we've got Appalachian clog dancers, and so it's just a fantastic opportunity to have a lovely, lovely time, and a whole range of opportunities for people. Yeah. So I don't like to call it education, but I don't know what you want. Development or possibilities or opportunities are absolutely built into this festival. This is not just about people turning up and being passive participants, and being an audience. That's sort of the only role there is for them. It's not like that at all. We've got a Hexham Bluegrass website which covers all the bluegrass. I think actually it's called Bluegrass in Hexham, but if you were to search for bluegrass and Hexham, you would get onto that site. So that's where the main updates are, but closer to the time, we're on Facebook, got a Facebook page, and Twitter, so it'll be all over the place. It will be in the Courants. There'll be leaflets and posters all over the place. But that would be the first port of call. And at the moment, it's obviously the programme is in the making, so it's updated. And if all of that fails, contact Core Music, and they'll point them in the right direction.